How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, man. Hey, thank you so much for taking some time just to hop on a call and chat.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. So he told me that you got a property in Clarksville, right?
Just bought it, and we're starting rehab today or this weekend, and I think it's going to be a perfect burr. Um, but I was talking to him about it because he's running his little duplex, and he said, my friend's doing Airbnb out there. I was like, yeah, I don't really think this would be a good idea. I used to do Airbnb in Nashville. My wife and I were doing
Mhm.
that. I said, yeah, I don't think this would be a good fit. It's like it's right across from the military base, and I don't know. And he said, man, you should give this guy a call. I guess you guys have some perspective on that. But yeah, so our
Yeah.
purchase price is 45. I think my repairs are 10. And I think my ARV is about 85, 80 to 85.
So you
Um,
got in at you bought it for 45. You repaired it for 45?
I bought it for 45. I'm putting 10,000 into it. And I think my ARV is between 80 and 85. So even if I'm at a 75% loan to value on my cash out, I
Mhm.
think I'll get money back and hopefully a little more.
What size is the place?
It's small. It's a little 2-1, maybe 800 and change square feet.
Okay. Um, how long are you with the rehab process and what style are you doing inside?
I mean, honestly, we're just getting it back up to. I mean, it just had like drywall damage. Flooring was kind of janky. Painting doing paint. Um, like I'm. It's not a full gut rehab. I'm getting. It's just getting back up to where it's like, hey, this is a nice place. The thought being, I would rent this place for a
Mhm.
long time.
It was our first property in Clarksville. It's near the military base. We got it for about 99,000. It was a three-bedroom, two bath, and we got the comps to come back, the appraiser to come back about 135 or something like that. So we put about 20K worth of work into it, but it cash flow is amazing. It's a great
And
bird.
And how, I mean, where did you guys get the idea that, oh, this would be a great Airbnb? And then could you just like help unpack like what in your experience, like if you were looking for Airbnb in Nashville, I could rattle your ear off about what would be good.
I'll just quickly get this part out of the way, right? How I met Will was he came to one of my real estate meetups where I was gathering a lot of different type of real estate investors into our group because my brother and I were pretty relatively new in Clarksville, and we're very much data driven kind of guys. We researched the areas really well. And during the time that he had to move in the area, the first thing he noticed was the difficulty it was to find a rental. That was one main thing. And we're big city guys. We come from like big cities like New York City, Miami, Los Angeles. I'm in Vegas now. So we're used to the big city, high cost of living, expensive rent and mortgage that don't cash flow well when you find a property. So now he's over here in Clarksville, which is like I would say a smaller tier city that he never experienced the numbers that we would dream of in the big cities and properties that cash flow and they're so cheap. So it's like when he moved from Texas, he decided, like it was a good time to maybe look into real estate investing at a very basic level. And Clarksville is an amazing spot to do it. In fact, if you listen to like Bigger Pockets, and you probably go to some of other people, there's quite a bit of activity going in Clarksville. So it's a very solid area. The whole Tennessee area is pretty solid, in fact. So like I said, we're data driven. AirDNA is a platform I'm not sure if you're familiar with that provided great information on like that market in general. So AirDNA pretty much takes the historic data, which is what we went off during this pre-COVID, and it was growing. And from our personal experience, we're still killing it. I think we still kind of price it a little bit lower than what we could probably get, but we're about like 80 or so dollars a night. Plus, cleaning fees like $30 for the entire stay. And I'm based on my YouTube video. I finished out the numbers in the back, but I believe my memory sucks, but I believe I'm like 2,500 to 3,000 profit after all the expenses just from that property, and it's on Airbnb. So we definitely believe that Airbnb works in the area. And there's also a solid demand because we're pretty much occupied a majority of the time.
What would you say are some of the key success factors for your Airbnb being so successful? Is it the 3-2? Are you getting mostly nightly stays? Are you doing weekly? Are you doing monthly? Is it furnished? Obviously it's furnished. That's stupid.
Yeah. I think the best thing for you to do is take a look at our property. You can fast forward the rehab process and just go take a look at what it looked like in the end and go straight to the end where the numbers are at. That's probably what you're most curious at. I put a lot of hours into making a video, but the gem is pretty much in the back where you want to see the numbers.
And what was that video called?
It's on my YouTube channel, Cavan Mitchell, and then it's like the first video that pops up as far as real estate related. I'm planning to put some more real estate content out there as well. Looking into buying some properties in Austin, Texas. Mm-hmm. Just trying to capitalize on the new Silicon Valley. So looking for planting a base over there. It's cheap. A lot of people from San Francisco and California are moving, and Texas and Nevada are great places for like tax havens or tax savings. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, that's a good point. That's interesting to hear you call it the new Silicon Valley. That's probably true. That's really interesting perspective. Yeah, I will definitely give that video a watch. I hope you don't feel like I wasted your time by hopping on a call. If you're like, hey, man,
I mean, that's what we do is we actually help and network with each other. So, consider you're part of our own, we haven't had a meetup in a while, but we're the Nashville investor meetup group. And so I think the only way we can probably move forward with that is like virtually. So are you looking to do any more properties or this is your first one?
No, I've got a couple going on right now. I just typically what I'm primarily cutting my teeth on is buy and sell, but selling with owner financing. So just creating wraps is kind of what my main focus is. Mm-hmm. But if there's a property like this where it doesn't make sense to do a wrap, in this case, it just worked perfectly as a burr. So, I did that. And then, if I need to flip it, if I'm beating 70% minus repairs, and it's not a property that I want to hold or an area I want to hold in, then I'll just sell it. That's pretty much what we're doing. I mean, we'll do a little bit of wholesale if it's like, I don't really want to take down this project. I'd love to just pass on the lead.
Now, the thing about the Airbnb is that you still need to provide a basic level of hospitality. So sometimes just like staging the property is a skill set that should not be overlooked, because when you have your listing out there, just like a washed car or a realtor that went in there and took high-end photos and edited them well before they listed it, it has the same effect as the people who are going to want to rent the unit. So in our properties, we went with the farmhouse style, very cheap, but very trendy. It looks good. And it's very, very well received by people who want to rent on Airbnb. So as far as the value, I believe that's what caused a lot of people want to book our place. And we're occupied probably 80+% of the time, which is amazing. It's probably one of those rare deals or rare gems or whatever that they will probably see. Most of the people we've noticed are families that are visiting, the soldiers that are based there, or people pretty much people who are all in that area for the base, I would assume. So we get a lot of that type of traffic. So we can only speak from our side because we do that one, but we also do long-term rentals as well. Personally, our Airbnbs are less of a headache than a long-term rental because we potentially have, squatting issues when they can't afford to pay rent, which we're kind of going through one right now, like 2, 3 months of like no rent. However, Airbnb is less riskier in that way because they're great tenants. They're way better. They're way better tenants than our long-term renters. Our long-term renters are the ones that feel like they can use the rule to squat and not pay rent and not be evicted because of the COVID situation. I don't know how it is over there right now, but there's so many updates and rules and eviction issue. I don't have no idea, but that's a headache that we have to deal with on a long-term rental. However, both cash flow positive for us very well.
Man, yeah, that's awesome perspective. Also, that Airbnb is paying. I mean, it's almost your tenant, right? And they're fine. They're putting, but you've got Airbnb is not going to be like, oh, I can't pay the rent. You know what I mean? They've got a credit card on file and they're just charging it.
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't worry as much of them like staying there. Like Airbnb, I don't worry about them like have to evict them out of there, because there's a feeling of like, you show them a calendar, all the people that are behind them, they feel like, oh, I can't ever squat here. Then I'm going to always have like these new guests come in and want to try to kick me out or something. So versus like, oh, I know I rented here and they want to squat. They know they can't, they got the owners by the nuts. During COVID, it was actually probably the best time for us. We killed it.
That's awesome. So key factors of success: playing to the military clientele, and then having it staged nicely with good pictures. I'm going to look at Air DNA. I'm going to watch your video. We might just test the waters, because if we're not successful in Airbnb, we can always pivot back over to doing a long-term rental. But if we are successful, we might not go that model.
I mean, I think no matter what, just picking up property, if you got it at a good deal in the front end, you're good. It's just how you decide to go about it with a short-term property or a long-term renter. So the issue with short-term rental is that you have to furnish it, and that is another upfront cost. So it depends on how you want to furnish it, but you have a smaller place, so it shouldn't be too bad. I would estimate probably like less than $3,000 for you to finish it on furnishing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that means all. But making an experience. It's hospitality. We hire cleaners, so it's more about management and making sure that they are on schedule. And if something breaks down, depends on the situation. Maybe we look at it ourselves, fix it, or we have someone to go in there and fix it for us. So that's the main key. The good thing is that there's enough. There's enough room to hire someone to do all that stuff for you. Mm-hmm. It's the key. It cash flows well. Some people just don't like having extra tasks like that. They really have busy schedules and don't want to add that. And some people just even do the cleaning themselves, and they keep that cleaning fee. We charge, I think, $30 for a cleaning fee for the entire stay, and that's for a 3-2.
To be honest with you, I sat down with Clint and he told me what you guys were making on your Airbnb in Clarksville. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way. But it sounds like if your occupancy is high and you're getting that much a night plus the fee demand at a particular price point. Is that where you got your pricing from, AirDNA?
AirDNA, yeah, I would highly suggest. For me, it's so useful to invest in the data that tells you that you're making a right decision. So I don't like to go in blind. And now so technically, let's just say this: we already did the data for you. You don't have to get it. You're pretty much in the area that you can close your eyes and just kind of like throw the dart anywhere, and you should be good. So
right.
It can't be that bad. It is the demand and a lack, from my understanding, of Airbnb short-term rentals over that area. So we would have continued getting more, but refinancing after we bought 4 properties real fast in that 4-month period this last year, got a lot slower for us in the process. So we wanted to keep on doing the BRRRR strategy refi, but the refi slowed us down. There's a lot of opportunity in that area. So look into the numbers, and how soon are you looking to make this all happen?
Probably middle of March. I mean, I'm going to be done with repairs, hopefully by the end of the weekend, maybe, but definitely by the end of next week. And then, I'll probably send my wife up there to try and furnish it.
Mhm. Okay.
Or, we might do something like what you said of like, get a picture, get an idea, and just see what the demand is and look at the data and see what the price is, and then weigh that again. Cause I'm not going to get $80 a night, I don't think. So, what can we get with a 2-1? Maybe 40 or $50, are we coming, let's see, 40 or $50. Maybe say 45 times. Yeah, that would be worth our time for sure. That we would do much better, because I think my long-term price is somewhere like 750 or 800.
Yeah. Well, I would suggest look at occupancy of like 20 days out of the month, maybe, and that's where you should be hitting to at least be near break even. Or at least,
Yeah, if we had 20% occupant or 80% occupancy or 20 nights, we would be at $45 a night. We'd be at 900. Where, like I said, on a long-term rental, we're looking at like 750 or 800. But then I've got expenses of getting it cleaned.
what's the monthly expense of holding that property?
It's before I refi,
Yeah.
it's 12% on 50,000.
Like,
So,
like, what do you have to pay to have that, like your costs? I'm assuming it's around 500.
well, I'm actually paying all my hard money costs on the back.
Okay. So,
But so divided by 12, it's 500 a month is what I'm accruing that I'll pay on the back once I refi.
okay. So, yeah, you should be making about 1,500, I think. 1,500 to 2 grand with the property.
Yeah, I don't know what the price is. Maybe, I don't know if I could get more than 45 a night. I don't know, but 45 a night for 20
Two
nights
bedrooms?
is like 900.
2 bedrooms. 2 bedroom,
So
one.
yeah, 2-1.
Okay, so it's almost like in that area, it's almost like $50 a bedroom, but then because that area is lower, so 25 a bedroom, 25, $30 a bedroom.
So maybe 55 a night, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, $1,100, but then I got to subtract out my
Oh, another thing is the cleaning fees.
cleaning costs.
You can kind of play around with that because they only see that after, I think not really after they pay or something, but they, you can kind of get away with a higher cleaning fee, is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
visually, you know that you've used the app. So, you know, you, at least 20, 25, 30 for cleaning.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I might pad it a little bit, and at least that would offset me paying somebody to go out there and clean it, right? Rather than having to subtract it out of that number.
Mhm.
But do you give long-term discounts, like if someone stays like longer than a certain period?
I don't.
No.
I only give discounts on, well, this is kind of a strategy. You know, I automated a rule set. So when it gets 3 days closer, it's a certain amount, 2 days closer to another amount, 1 day closer to
Yep.
another amount. So
Mhm. Yeah, just to keep your fill high.
exactly.
Yeah. All right. I think I've got a good handle on it. It sounds like I don't think we lose anything by giving it a shot. And then if it doesn't work and I've, spent a month or two trying and we realize like we're not actually doing any better financially, but
You're gonna kill it.
our,
You're in a good season right now. You're entering hot season. You're gonna be fine.
yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, this is awesome. I really appreciate you. Yeah, sorry we had to go back and forth for a little bit, but yeah, thank you so much for hopping on a call. I'm going to give it a shot and I'll let you know if we're successful or not.
All right, let me know. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks,
All
man.
right.
I'm going to watch that video. I'll shoot you
All right.
any questions if I got them.
Sure. All right.
See
Take
ya.
care. Bye.
All right, bye.